Hello, and welcome to another lesson on Advanced Project Management. This lesson on Advanced Project Management Fundamentals will cover scope management. Project planning initiates with the identification of project objectives, deliverables, and significant tasks, collectively defining the project's size and the extent of the work, known as the project scope. The determination of project scope commences in project conception, first during project initiation, and later in the project's initial description, such as the request for proposal, RFP, or proposal process for contracted projects. It reiterates during project definition, involving a comparison of user needs and requirements against constraints like time, cost, resources, and technology to define precisely what the project should encompass. This process of determining the project scope is referred to as scope definition. Scope definition is clearly specifying the project's breadth and the complete range of its outputs, end items, or deliverables. The sought-after requirements and results are termed inclusions, representing what should be included in the project. Scope definition primarily focuses on project outputs and deliverables rather than time and cost, though time and cost are acknowledged as constraints. The outcome of scope definition is a scope statement, which includes main deliverables, background information about the addressed problem or exploited opportunity, project objectives, functions fulfilled by deliverables, user requirements, assumptions, constraints, and high-level project tasks or major areas of work. The information required for scope definition encompasses user needs and requirements, a business case or expression of needs, constraints, assumptions, and ideally, identification of principal subsystems and components of the end item. The scope statement encompasses everything considered part of the project or contract, including support, side items, exclusions, and related areas of work or deliverables not explicitly part of the project. Initially determined during project initiation, the scope statement undergoes detailed expansion and specification during project definition. It typically refers to or incorporates documents containing requirements and specifications. Once approved as a baseline, the scope statement becomes a controlled document, subject to modification only through a formal change process. Project scope management encompasses processes essential for ensuring that the project includes all necessary work and only the basic tasks required for its successful completion. The primary focus of managing project scope is defining and controlling the inclusions and exclusions within the project. The project scope management processes are pivotal in defining, validating, and controlling project and product scope. These processes that intricately shape the trajectory of successful project execution are plan scope management. Involves creating a comprehensive scope management plan that outlines how the project and product scope will be defined, validated, and controlled. Collect requirements. This process entails determining, documenting, and managing stakeholders' needs and requirements to align with project objectives. Define scope. It involves creating a detailed description of the project and product. Create WBS, work breakdown structure. This process entails breaking down project deliverables and project work into smaller, more manageable components. Validate scope. It formalizes the acceptance of completed project deliverables. Control scope involves monitoring the project and product scope status and managing changes to the scope baseline. While the project scope management processes are presented as distinct processes with defined interfaces, they often overlap and interact together in practice. Within the project context, the term scope embodies two key aspects. Product scope refers to the features and functions that characterize a product, service, or result. Project scope involves the work undertaken to deliver a product, service, or result with the specified features and functions. Project scope is sometimes considered to include product scope. Project life cycles can vary from predictive approaches, where project deliverables are defined at the project's outset, and scope changes are progressively managed, to adaptive or agile approaches. In adaptive life cycles, deliverables are developed through multiple iterations, with a detailed scope defined and approved for each iteration. Within project scope management processes, the elicitation, documentation, and management of stakeholder requirements play a crucial role. Emerging trends and practices in project scope management underscore the collaboration with business analysis professionals to identify problems and discern business needs, propose and recommend viable solutions to address those needs, elicit, document, and manage stakeholder requirements to align with business and project objectives, facilitate the successful implementation of the program or project's result, product, service, or outcome. The requirements closure marks the conclusion of this process, transitioning the product, service, or result to the recipient for the measurement, monitoring, realization, and sustained benefits over time. Given the uniqueness of each project, the project manager must customize the application of project scope management processes. Tailoring considerations cover the following: knowledge and requirements management. Assess whether the organization employs formal or informal knowledge and requirements management systems. Validation and control. Evaluate whether the organization has established formal or informal validation and control-related policies, procedures, and guidelines. Development approach. Understand the organization's project management approach, including whether agile methods are employed, if the development approach is iterative or incremental, and whether a predictive, adaptive, or hybrid approach would be most effective. Stability of requirements. Identify areas of the project with unstable requirements. Determine if employing lean, agile, or other adaptive techniques is necessary until these requirements stabilize and become well-defined. Governance. Examine whether the organization has formal or informal audit and governance policies, procedures, and guidelines. This is the end of this segment of our lesson. This course is presented to you by South Europe College. Thank you for listening, and see you on our next segment.